Hello, you're listening to iFanboy Special Edition, the Pick of the Week 1000 emails show. My name is Conor Kilpatrick. We didn't know what the title is. My name is Conor Kilpatrick. This is my co-host, Josh Flanagan.
I have this idea that if I was ever trapped in like a cabin and all the snow came in and you came to find me, the first thing I would hear is "hello" like that. That's
what I'll do.
It would be just remember that. Like if you can't find me, just do it like the show intro and I'll be like, "Why now? I told you to do it without me."
And Ron Richards.
The 1000th episode never ends.
No. So why are we here? We did our 1000th Pick of the Week show a couple weeks ago, and how those shows, our anniversary shows, work is we ask the listeners and the viewers to write in emails, and we answer them for about 3 hours, and it's fun. But for the 1000th show, we had a bunch of special guests, and we ended up chatting with them a lot and not really answering a lot of emails. So we felt bad because we asked you to send emails, and you sent a ton of them in, more than anyone's ever, more than any anniversary show before.
More than anyone's ever sent emails at all, ever in the history of the internet. Yeah, exactly. Tim Berners-Lee is very impressed.
We felt bad, decided we'd do a special show, try to answer as many as we can. We're not going to answer all of them. There's too many, and some of the questions are too crazy, but we'll have fun with it. We'll have a good time. Here we are. Let's do this.
The really, really intimate personal questions that people go, like people just really have no filter. Yeah.
What's your favorite lube?
Yeah. It's not quite that level, but
Jesus Christ.
It's actually weirder than that question. So
believe it or not,
buckle up.
Can we? I mean, now I guess I could just look. We don't need everyone. But then I'd start answering it. Well,
oh God.
You can just control F3 All right. So you were at the contact at iFanboy.com. Thanks for that. And as always, we remove the platitudes that were in the emails. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. But
yes, we received all of your adulation, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
So let's start with the first email from Ken J from the Great White North, our regular emailer. He says, what comic book story and what comic book related thing, movie, TV show, etc., has had the most impact in each of your minds or lives?
Impact makes it an interesting call there.
Yeah, that's it's
not really the same.
Is that a verb or an adverb? What is that?
Comic book related thing.
Mm-hmm.
Comic book story and comic book related thing. See, that's not an or. So it has to be a story which has a related thing. And that ETC there really opens the gates wide open. Someone else have an answer for this.
This is how Josh stalls while he thinks.
I will make sounds until one of them has
what
relevance.
Comic book story has had an impact, and so it's two answers here. Really,
no, it's two qualifiers.
Yeah. There you go. Well, Connor, why don't you kick us off since you read the email and you had the most time to think about this?
That doesn't mean I've thought at all about them.
Those are different things. One is admin.
I'm looking at my wall. I'm trying to think.
Comic book story. I mean, impact in my mind or life. I think it's got to be The Dark Knight Returns, only because I read it the most when I was a kid. I probably read that 300 times as a kid, and it cemented my love of many things: Elseworld stories, fictional end of character stories, Batman stories. All kinds of things are wrapped up in my love of that book, and so it's probably the most impactful comic book I've ever read. Movie or TV show?
Does this count? This is a comic book related thing.
It is a show.
And as such, I've met many of the people who did the things, which I thought was cool.
It's a good answer, actually.
I mean, I'll give you one. This is not what you asked.
Mm-hmm.
Million years ago, 25 years ago, I read Box Office Poison. It's been one of my favorite graphic novels ever since. I read the whole thing in one day, and it was the first time that I'd ever read a book like that, which is about people in their everyday lives. And as I was reading it, I was like, I really feel a lot like I understand this, and like connection to the person who would do such a thing and read it. And so for years, I said to myself, I was like, I bet I can be friends with that guy. I did. And I found a bunch of ways to get myself near the author of that, Alex Robinson, and I made him a friend of mine.
This isn't disturbing at all.
No. But so like, that's just the one thing. Like, I made a friend out of it. That was a really long time ago. But the other side of it is that I think that when you are reading something, or it works if you're watching or listening to music or whatever, but since we read so many comics, and you recognize some spark in there that speaks to you specifically, I think you are making a connection with that creator, with the person making it, which I think is the intent of the thing. And because I've had that happen to me a lot of times, that's just the first sort of primary example, is that I really do believe that that's what's great about this medium, because it is actually so small that, you know, they're preaching to a very small choir, and you're reading that going, I really relate to this. And that's real.
Right.
Like, I have proven that that is real. And I think that
Right.
that's really important. That's one of the things I love about comics.
All right. That's a good answer.
Thank you.
What about the comic book related thing?
No, that is the.
Oh, that's
okay,
the.
You're not.
I got you.
We already said
that's
the thing. The thing was this show,
The
which
thing
led
was
to
it. Yeah,
yeah.
I got you.
I mean, like, what do you want to be like? I saw Avengers 18 times. Like, I don't.
Yeah. Well, I would say the comic book story for me is Uncanny X-Men number 274,
Okay.
because that's the one with Rogue on the cover with Magneto and Nick Fury. Just have you ever like? It was the first time. Here, I have the cover. I found the cover. Where is it?
I like how your screen reflects in the Jaws pinball machine.
Yeah, I know. Here we go. Sorry for audio listeners. I was just pulling it up to give context to what we're talking about, also so I can make sure I'm referencing it correctly. So this is the one where I bought. This was in year one of getting into comics, and I was buying issues having no context or not understanding anything. And I bought Uncanny X-Men number 274, and on the cover is Rogue standing with Magneto next to Kazar, and in the very front is Nick Fury. And like Rogue and Kazar are dressed in like Savage Land outfit. Magneto's in full Magneto helmet, cape, and Nick Fury's smoking a cigar with a huge gun and full shield costume. And I just remember thinking, like, what the hell is this?
Blowing smoke rings. Who drew that? Who is does
Jim
Lee?
Lee.
Jim Lee. This is totally Jim Lee. Yeah,
Good Jim Lee.
That's like proto Jim Lee.
And this was just like, this was at in my 13-year-old mind, this was the most, like, this summed up the potential of comic books of this, like, this makes no sense and has like a mix of like this military dude and some like this thing called the Savage Land and this really cool dude in a helmet, and I don't know what the hell's going on, and I need more of it.
Right.
And that's kind of like the you know, like more so like I talked about Excalibur number 19 as being my first one and all stuff like that, but it was this issue that really like kind of stoked the potential of what comics could be, if that makes sense. So
I mean, if I could give the quick second one, is just that like I've talked about how Preacher's my favorite thing, and there's a page in there that I was.
I thought you were going to say Preacher. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I was getting, I think I hadn't formed it, but like, there's the thing of you got to be one of the good guys, son. There's way too many of the bad, and as I've gotten older and older and older and older, the idea of the morality behind your, especially Superman, Captain America, who are two guys who do the right thing because they should. Not because they have to, not because anybody's holding them accountable, but just like, if you have the opportunity to be kind and to do the right thing and to help somebody, then do it. Peter Parker is also sort of that. But like, that's, I mean, if you're talking about impact on mind life, that's it. My morality is right aligned with that. And I've got two boys I've got to raise to sort of be that way.
Yep.
All right, let's jump to 4. He's got 3 questions. We can each do one. Ron, do question 1.
Wait, you said multiple numbers.
Number
Email
4.
Question 1.
Yep.
Got it. In the age of AI-generated art, would any of you consider a publisher revisiting a previously acclaimed comic book storyline and updating the art in order to create a more holistic production? For example, George Perez drew issues 1 to 3 and part of issue 4 of the original Infinity Gauntlet series. Then Ron Lim finished the rest of the series. Would you be comfortable with the use of AI to recreate the style of George Perez as an overlay over Ron Lim's art for the rest of the series? Alternatively, do you have any acclaimed comic book storylines that you still treasure despite the vast inconsistency of the artist on the storyline?
That's a fourth question.
That's true. He snuck that in. Yes, he did.
So this email came from Aldwin D, and Aldwin D just, I mean, and in short, no.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Because part
what
of
a
the
kick in the nuts to Ron Lim.
Yeah, no, part of the magic of all this sort of stuff is the fact that Perez only did the first 3 issues and Ron did the fourth one. Like part of the uniqueness of all this stuff is that stuff.
Right.
And and AI and technology and all this sort of stuff I think is fascinating and can do really cool stuff and stuff like that. Not that.
Yeah.
So in short, I could talk much longer about it, but we have more emails to do it.
Yeah.
But
I think Ron speaks for all 3 of us.
Yeah.
And then as far as acclaimed storybook lines that I treasure despite the inconsistency of artists on the storyline, yeah, all of them. I mean, like I was just talking about Uncanny X-Men 274. That was a time period of vast inconsistency. The Extinction Agenda is one of my favorite crossovers, my first crossover. Not a single consistent artist across that crossover because Jim Lee and Liefeld and all them couldn't keep up. And you had John Bogdanov and some, like all people like that filling in. I despite we live in a world now of collected editions and graphic novels and it'd be great one singular vision and stuff like that. I grew up in a time of inconsistency and artists doing fill-in stuff, and that was normal, and I enjoy that. So
I got a great answer for that question, which isn't mine. G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. That art is all like the first 100, basically right up until Skybound. That art's all over the place.
Yep.
And sometimes it's terrible, and sometimes it's great, and it's the same person. And sometimes it's like, oh my God, this is a legend of comics. This is Herb Trimp, and this sucks. And it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's talking more about like a single story, like a Infinity Gauntlet, which would be my answer for this question. But comics weren't written in the early '90s. Very few comics were collected and thought would be on a shelf forever. It was just like they came out in chapters every month, and sometimes a different person drew them.
It was about
really
shipping.
Special.
It was about shipping. I mean, like honestly, going back to those years in 1990, 1991, Marvel was shipping some of the same titles twice a month. Like some of the corner boxes say early April, late June, or whatever. Like they were double shipping.
Sure, that's been
like it was moving units. It was moving units, and so in order to do that, you needed
doing vaudeville. It was moving units.
Exactly. You had to move fast. You have one artist do one issue, another artist do the fill and do the second one, and then another.
But they were still basically disposable, even though people were keeping. They weren't thought of being on a shelf and hard. Like, would I love to go back in time and have George Perez draw the entire thing? Sure, but he didn't, and that's fine. I'd like Ron Lim. His second question, or really his third. In pick of the week, episode 133, at the 19-minute 46-second mark, there was discussion of Batman RIP.
That was a 24
storyline where Conor, Ron, and Josh were all speculating that Batman was considering retirement from his never-ending life of fighting crime. Josh dreadfully says, quote, "This is episode 1000, oh God, kill me, of iFanboy, at the possible prospect of doing 867 more episodes." How does he feel about that statement now? And Josh, I'm going to play this for you.
Oh God!
So you can remember what you said.
I know how he feels.
Yeah, exactly.
This is episode 1000. Oh God, kill me, iFanboy.
How do you feel about that statement?
I know that guy.
I will say that's pretty on the nose.
I mean, you can't say I haven't been consistent. I don't know. You're not like you used to be. I'm pretty sure he is.
Josh, your question.
That was I exactly encapsulated what I thought I would feel then, and it was right.
Josh, question 3.
What do each of you consider as your lasting legacy on the comic book review landscape and comic book community in the 21st century?
I mean, I think if anything, our legacy and on the review landscape, the comic community is just the idea of the 3 of us and everybody else that has been part of this journey, and all of you listening, coming and hanging out every week and showing that you could do that, and then hopefully, either inspiring or influencing or whatever dialogue with other shows and spinning, having other people do that also to show that it can be done. That's what it is for me, at least.
I mean, for a long time, we had a lot of listeners who did their own shows, and then so we had a whole family tree of other podcasts that led to other podcasts that led to Daryl having a whole podcasting empire for a while. There was a whole thing that trickled out of what we did, and then also friendships, real, true Friendships have come out of this. People who are best friends have come out of being listeners and meeting on the forums or the website comment sections or the parties. Absolutely happened, and those are. I don't think about that often enough, but it's true and it's great.
I mean, we created this. This is all ours. No, I mean it. We were the first ones there with the camera. Everybody else is ripping us off. No, but
I mean, kind of.
watch the actual. Yes, if you watch the actual 1000 show, you know what Rick said. I take that very seriously, in that there are plenty of people who have said we made a heck of an impact, and I say that in the way like, thank goodness, I'm so glad that more people got to read Black Science or Fear Agent or whatever because we mentioned it. And there are people, and I'm not like, but there are people who were big names that who have told us like, oh, I owe my career to you, and we're like, whatever. But I was like, whatever. If somebody said, somebody was, say, in the desert during a war and they were reading stuff all the time, and then they came out and became one of the best comic book writers of the last 20 years, and he says that I helped with that in any way, I'll take that. That's good for all of us, including me.
Or even just people who were sick and listened to the show while they were in treatment, and if it made them laugh.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
I mean, anything we did it for even a moment to make people have fun. I mean, we've been on lots of panels where we're with other media people, and we've always just said we were entertainers more than we were anything else. And we hope
I do think though that we still have a way that is like the way of looking at stuff of we don't say things suck. We have reasons. We want to understand.
And do it with respect.
We want to understand what it is that works about the art, and like the idea of appreciating all forms of the art and the people who are doing these things. And if other readers walk away from it and able to enjoy their stuff more and appreciate what people are doing, that's awesome, and if that lives on in some way and whatever, and you go, geez, man, I would have never read Lone Wolf and Cub, and I came out here and it changed what I thought about that's awesome.
Yep.
Is it my turn?
Your turn.
Let's do a more fun, silly one. Number 6. Who would win in a Robin Hood style archery competition, Green Arrow or Hawkeye? So this is a Matt C from Baltimore, Maryland. Who is the better
archer?
If I'm writing that story, it's gonna be like a complete ridiculous draw. Like they cannot.
Yeah.
Like think about it. Those are two incredibly egocentric dudes.
I say who leans more on trick arrows?
Ollie.
Old Ollie. Depending on the era, Ollie. They keep going back and forth between him trick arrowing and him just regular arrowing.
Yeah. Like the story to me is going to be that they're both incredibly frustrated that they cannot beat this guy. Like because
they can't beat each other. Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying so you're Clint. You're like, why can't I beat this guy? I know I'm better than him, and he can't. And then Oliver's going, why can't I beat this guy? Because they both know that they are, and eventually, you have to admit. So I don't know that. I don't have an answer for you.
That's a good. No, I think that's a good answer. I mean, the real answer is whoever needs to, whatever the needs of the story are. But I think that's a good answer for.
But right now, they're the same. That's the whole.
Yeah.
Who wins, Batman or Wolverine?
It depends. Is it Hawkeye or Hawkeye? If it's Hawkeye, fuck that.
No,
guy.
we're both using the platonic ideal of both of these.
Okay.
Whatever your version of that is. Yes, they're both definitely in masks.
Any thoughts, Ron? Or should we move on?
No, I agree. I think it's probably a frustrating comic book romp draw.
Yeah.
All right. Tharanga from Melbourne has rapid fire questions, so I'll just do them.
Melbourne.
If Josh was a guitar, what guitar would he be?
Telecaster.
Ron, if Ron is a pinball machine, what pinball machine would he be?
Oh God, an existing pinball machine? Like what? Am I the embodiment of it? Oh God.
You gotta.
Black Knight 2000.
There it is.
If Conor was an old movie, what movie would he be? I'm going to cheat and say if I was a character in an old movie, I'd be the drunk guy in the beginning of Miracle on 34th Street just trying to stay warm.
All
right. Cool. Let's do number 8.
8. All right.
Somebody do 8.
I'll take it. Kyle F from New Jersey says one of the special parts of television shows is on anniversary shows when it turns into a clip show showing highlights of the previous few seasons. It's fastly becoming a lost art in television. I aside. I think it's gone, but anyway.
Oh, it's totally gone. Yeah.
So I wanted to know what would be one segment that you would add to an iFanboy clip show. Mine would be either Josh attempting to say the names of Italian creators or the commentary on the art of eating food in comics.
That was great. That's a great, not what I mean, the food part. That's been a real rich vein that we've come across over the past couple of years. Yeah, they don't know how to.
You've missed out on the entire pizza thing, Ron. You would really quite enjoyed that.
Yeah.
The crimes of drawing people eating pizza.
And they're all Italian, so it just doesn't make sense.
I did have to laugh the other day because my son was trying to draw. He drew a Pokemon ball, and he was trying to draw a hand holding it, and he's like, "It's hard to draw a hand holding a ball." I was like, "Yeah, it is." And I was like, I can show you lots of examples of professional artists who can't do it either.
I mean, I still think when I think back to the laughs that we had, and most of the stuff came about when it was the three of us on the show. I think, I still think of the post-coital Thor as probably the most I've cried laughing while doing the show.
Middle Management Red Skull was
great.
Yeah.
Bad Roommate Black Panther was.
Bad Roommate Black Panther was.
But like I think of like the extended bit of that Thor thing where we just kept going and couldn't stop ourselves was probably the thing I think about the most.
Yep. Yeah. Good times.
All right, Josh,
I will say,
yes.
Going back to the legacy question too, and the bit, I do appreciate because I do think I originated it, but I do appreciate the long-lasting legacy of everyone needing to declare how long they thought about things.
Well,
you hold on.
Brought it to the.
There was a question about that, but we might have missed that one from the last show. That was you and I. Someone asked where that came from, and I don't know if that was in here or in the other. Like a batch of.
Pretty sure that was what I don't know exactly when it started, but I really feel
it was you and I at
I don't think I was
WonderCon talking to a creator off camera, and he said he went on this long thing about what he was thinking about in comics, and then we were like, "How long have you been thinking about it?" And he went like, "I've really been thinking about it," and then that became the running joke the entire weekend was we'd say to each other, how long have you been thinking about it? And then we brought it back to the show, and it's been the longest running bit in the entire show.
Right.
That came from that, and I'll never say who the creator was. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't because it wasn't making fun of him really.
Most of you wouldn't remember. Most of you wouldn't remember him at this point. You'd be like, who? Like, some people have a personality that makes an impact on you. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. I really liked him.
It was good.
No, it was nice. It just was like we both were like. How long have you been thinking?
How long have you been thinking about it?
And I think about every week because it's something I've been doing this and I've been thinking about it for so long, and I was like, it must have been at least 10, 15 years ago we started doing that, right?
Oh no,
WonderCon in San Francisco was
right.
At least, almost 20,
and we don't talk about it. And we don't. It like
it perpetuates.
It comes in.
It's alive.
It comes in the emails.
Yeah.
We don't like. They don't know why they're doing it.
I think 75% of the emails we got for this said how long they were thinking about the question.
Like it really
because at some point, Joe, we said you have to declare how long you've been thinking about something. Right? Like,
well, I mean, like it started like in a little while. Like we would just do it to each other. Someone would say something, and then we'd be like, "Well, how long you been thinking about that?" And like good partners, you'd pick it up and be like, "Oh, I don't know, about a week or so." I'd be like, "Those are rookie numbers. You gotta bump those up."
Or literally, the next email starts with the line. 10, Mark N from London, England, and Washington, D.C., who must live in a much more exciting life than we do. His first question, I've been thinking about this question for a few weeks. Especially
it's great. It's alive. It's its own thing now. Anyway, okay, Mark.
Especially while you've been talking about 1980s movies. If you suddenly had a 1980s Hollywood action movie budget for one episode, what would you do with it? Who would be the guest stars, and where would it be set?
Of the podcast?
Yeah. If we suddenly had like $80 million to make a podcast episode.
Wait a minute.
I would embezzle the shit out of that.
Wait a minute. Was 80? Wait, what's an 80s action movie?
Tango and Cash.
Tango and Cash. Budget. I don't think they had 80 million for that. Their budget was 54 million.
Well, yeah, but inflation.
Yeah, but 80s money.
Right, yeah. 80s money.
That's a $250 million movie now.
Yeah.
54 million. All right. What would we do with it? I don't know. We would
I would embezzle it. I would give half to poor people, and then I would
we would do house. No, we would do the show exactly the way we did it. We would pocket the rest.
Okay. I mean,
no, wait though. We would, you know what I think we would do is we would hire a cavalcade of unrelated stars that we think are funny to bring on. We'd be like, and here's Henry Winkler.
Yeah. Yes,
That's what we would do.
Like if it was a
we'd
Brewster's
have a
Millions type
band.
situation where we had to spend the money,
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
then we
So
would
we'd have
pay for any celebrity we could possibly afford to pay to join the show that we wanted to
Get
be on.
bands on.
I think Josh is onto something with Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Noah Wiley.
Like we know Wiley. We'd be like, all right, can we get a quote from Tom Hanks on this?
So now wait a minute. Are they just appearing on the show, or are we casting them as us?
No, they're just appearing.
No. It's just our budget to put on our show.
So
Yeah.
are we doing like the Smartless
We're doing this-
documentary? Are we like producing like is it like a doc? Are we producing the show as if
we're
we're
doing a show.
doing a show?
Episode.
Yeah, it's episode 1.
Is this the show? This is the show.
This
Right
is
now.
it.
This is
Right,
the
so-
show.
all right. So now that we're out of the embezzlement part, which is not a fun answer, but
But
I
the
got
truth.
bills. Like we would have to be like, where do we do this?
But is
And
this the
so-
show? But is the
This is-
show this, or are we doing like
It's
Are
whatever
we-
we want. It's our show.
right?
So we can do this show. We're going to do a bunch of emails, but we're going to do it from like the upper deck of the Eiffel Tower, featuring,
Oh, I see.
the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like we don't even like them.
Why would
And
we do that?
No, because you could be like Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they'd start, and you go, nah, we're good. And then you close it down because you're just flaunting it.
Oh man.
Lighting cigarettes on fire with $100 bills. All right. So this is the guy. This was the question, Josh. Here you go. This is just for you. You're the only one that's going to answer this one. If you could have a threesome with any 2 comic book characters, or a quadruple with your 2 and your real life partners, who would they be? You asked for it, Josh. You got it.
Wait. When he says your IRL partners, does he mean us or does he mean his wife?
Oh, good question.
Well,
Also, he's been thinking about this question for 10 minutes.
First of all, I'm going with 2. I don't need anybody else I know around.
You don't have to answer, but
I mean, my instinct here is a She-Hulk because I think
It
she's
just
a
gets
fun
weird.
time.
Don't answer.
it
it.
just
Please
does-
don't answer it. Don't,
I was really hoping
yeah,
you we're not going to answer.
Yeah.
She-Hulk
I feel dirty now.
I don't know. One of those ones that's like not like fully
No.
human. It's got a bunch of different features.
Get some tentacles in there.
Just something a little amorphous.
Just something a little different.
You've been
Get
married a
something
long
little
time.
different.
You've been married a long time. You need tentacles.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some kind of underwear I don't even know about.
I mean that's just some different underwear.
Let's this is a think piece. Ron, do 12.
Is it about a mid-level band struggling to come
Well,
to terms with their own
Josh,
celebrity in
we'll
the
see.
face of
Does Josh have to do it? Why do I have to do them all? Okay, number 12.
It's too long for Josh.
Kane
too long
T,
for Josh.
Kane T from Canada says, I've been thinking about this probably for a few months now.
See,
Do you
they're
think
all
s-
like this.
Do you think some of the problems with the current state of comics, i.e., complex backstory, massive families, no more regular people, supporting characters, etc., is actually due to the soap opera storytelling we yearn for? That maybe after 60 years of constantly thinking of what the most dramatic twist would be, we've added so many long lost sons and daughters, given powers to or killed off every notable side character, revealed identities, and passed the torch to future generations, reset and destroyed universes, and so on, and so many times that maybe these universes, Marvel and DC, would have been better off in the long term to just tell one-off stories in however many issues it takes, and treat these characters more like Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny, where literally nothing changes versus the little changes that have taken place for so long now. It's obviously more complex than that, and there's many ways to handle the current status quo effectively, but I'd love to get your overall thoughts on that. Thanks again for the hours of entertainment you provide. So, to sum it up, is attempting to maintain continuity killing comics, or should they have adopted a nothing makes sense, nothing matters approach long ago?
Counterpoint. It's exactly how it's supposed to be and how it was always going to be.
Ooh.
You've been telling a story for 80 years. You wanted to make it continuous. Stan Lee, smartest person to finally go, that's a no prize. He recognized right away it was never going to work. And so now do what suits you. Follow your whim, follow your joy, do the thing, read what you want. It can be everything and anything you want it to be or not. And I think that is the feature.
I don't think it has anything to do with the current state of comics.
I was going to say all the things he described. I was like, it's always been that. That's why they did Crisis, and that was 40 years ago.
No, what I mean is what we talk about the show all the time, how they've gotten rid of the soap opera storytelling in favor of the 6-issue arc. Nothing will be the same after the story style of storytelling. Doesn't have anything to do with the past continuity. It just has to do with the changes in the market and the way they sell comics and the way they market comics. And I don't think the storytelling changed the storytelling. I think the marketing and the other stuff changed the
The
storytelling.
positioning, right?
Yeah. The marketing, everything towards collected editions means everything has to be important, and you can't just tell long drawn out soap operas. You have to have a defined arc that is sellable, which means it has to be important, which means something big has to happen, as opposed to just the West Coast Avengers fighting villains and also having sex with each other. Like that's something that you really can't put on a cut like a log line.
Oh, can I change my answer to just say as long as it's drawn by Frank Cho and or Terry Moore?
Just I don't think it has anything to do with why things have changed. I think other forces.
You think the market has driven the changes?
Yeah.
The business. Yeah.
I also just think that there is a momentum to this, trying to maintain all of this continuity and all of this drama and whatever, and like this is the system we end up with, that is being driven by the market forces, the whole thing. But just like it's this giant ridiculous mess. Celebrate that.
Right.
Yep.
But that doesn't have. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could celebrate it, or you can exist despite it with things that don't relate to it, right? And both work.
If you're a real comic book reader, you both hate it and love it at the same time.
Right.
It just is.
Yeah.
Josh,
It's a very Alan Moore answer, by the way. But yeah.
Do 13, Josh.
13, Mark B of Bloomington says, if you could produce a Marvel DC crossover miniseries, which DC and Marvel characters or teams would you choose? Creative team?
Now that the companies like each other again, what would you choose? What would you want to see? Who would you want to see interact? Because right now it's just Batman and Deadpool.
I think that they should have a thing where Green Arrow and Hawkeye have an archery contest. But what happens is that they're both so good that no one ever wins, and they're coming to struggle their own limitations.
And who's writing and drawing that?
Anybody? Do they have to be alive?
Yes, they have to be alive.
Alive, yeah.
Who's writing and drawing it? Tom King's writing it. It's drawn by Matteo Scalera.
I'd read that.
All right, there you go.
Cool.
Brad G from Exeter, California. What are the top 5 best patron powers we've given out?
Didn't we do that on the 1,000?
I don't remember. The whoever said Tiny Palpatine, that's the winner. That was Ron, I think. We haven't beaten that.
Tiny Palpatine. There've been good ones though.
You're not getting 5 from each of us. You're not getting
no.
That's
not
5
overall. 5. When you think about it, when you're out at an event at your kid's school and you're explaining to another parent that you do a podcast and you give powers to your listeners.
Think about how long it would take to even get to
I know, that's why I said it. And they're like, you give power. Well, like, what are some examples of the powers? What are the 5 examples you would provide?
I'm telling you.
Can I say that
it's a complete blank.
Tiny Palpatine isn't my favorite Ron power. My favorite Ron power was flashbulbs, which was a super early power. He just like the guy's hand was an old timey flashbulb from a camera and it popped out. That's what I always think of with Ron. Like he just was like flashbulb, just
pop the sound.
Pops.
You know the sound, right? Yeah.
That old like
the old camera, and then it makes the light, and the bulb pops out.
That chemical burn.
Yep.
I don't remember.
I can't remember any of your powers. I'm sorry.
I liked smelling what the rock is cooking. I liked W.W. Beauchamp appearing to write your stories. They're good ones.
People in the comments just say some and we'll bring them up as we move along.
All right, next question. Okay, so 15. Who's next?
I'll read it. Joe T from Seattle, Washington says, I've been thinking about this question for about 3 years since I finally rewatched The Boondock Saints. Have either of you ever seen The Boondock Saints?
Yes. I have not.
Yeah, I haven't either.
You've never seen I thought I saw it at your house.
It was one of my favorite movies in my 20s, but now I'm the dad of 2 daughters. A lot of the time when I watch these old action movies, they just don't seem to be as important as they used to be. Does this happen to you? Do you return to your favorite movies or comics from 2 decades ago and think, I see why I liked it, but it doesn't mean as much to me anymore? Yes.
Sure. I mean, there's definitely...
It goes either way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's your tastes evolve, and
they should evolve.
They should, yeah. I mean, there's stuff that was in heavy rotation 20, 30 years ago that now I don't even pay any attention to. So
I mean, I think there's a lot of things like when you're younger, you're searching for, that's why everybody's like, oh, in their teens and their 20s, because you're searching for meaning, you're searching for connection, you're searching for something. So the first time you find those things, you're like, oh, this feels like something is familiar to me. You glom onto that. So that doesn't happen as much later because you have you've already found those kind of things. You've also like got a better sense of self, probably. And then, B, you're kind of a little more fully formed, but at the same time, you can go back and go, I'm not this person anymore, so it doesn't speak to me in the same way that it did. I mean, I think that's like a Kevin Smith thing. Like at the time, I was like, holy shit, this is the truth. And now I'm like, yeah, it doesn't speak to me the same way.
That's a great answer.
I know why I did like it.
That's a great answer. I think the Kevin Smith films, which if you talk to us when we were in college, were like so incredibly important.
Yep. Time and place.
I watched like an hour of Clerks not that long ago. It was on TV, and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like the life-changing experience his films felt like they were when we were 19.
Right.
We watched Mallrats sometime in the last year. It was funny as shit.
It's funny.
It was stupid, but it was great.
I mean, I had Mallrats poster in my dorm room forever. It was, it's just things change.
But there's also things from back then that you can watch now, and you're like, nope, this is even better than I thought. I mean, I could like Pulp Fiction's one of those. Like, I loved that then. I love it now. Maybe more.
Ron 16.
16. Monica from Mexico writes in and says, "Is there a comic book that you like that if anyone says they dislike it, you would no longer trust their taste?" No, because I don't. I'm so over.
No.
Yeah.
Good. It depends on how they said it. If somebody was like, Watchmen is so overrated, it's not good, I don't get it. Yeah, I'd probably not trust their taste. At least, I don't know. If somebody comes up to him and is like,
you're talking about a blithe dismissal versus like, no, I read that and it just didn't speak to me. As opposed to
that's valid to me.
Yeah. I mean, like after all the years of us doing what we do, and like what I talk about the pearl clutching or the air sucking in reaction to not watching or listening or reading whatever media that you find beloved that the other person is dismissed of. I'm just so tired. Like. The
older you get, the less you care about what other people think about what you like.
That's true, but there's a point in there was like if somebody says they don't like something. Now listen, there's certain things that are subjective, like with music. Like I don't like that music. Like all right, that makes I wouldn't like everything I like. You like it's fine.
Yeah.
Some things like there's movies or there's like I don't like that. That's not good. You'd be like, and I wouldn't be mad. But I would not trust their taste.
Right,
like I've got like in-laws who'd be like, "This movie was great," and I was like, like I'm not taking their recommendations because
the same thing is like I don't give a shit about anybody's taste. Like there's very few like
that's true. You've already decided, like
right, like okay, cool, like okay, sorry you don't like that, okay, like I'm just it's at the point, like okay, everyone's everyone do what's good, do what's good by you, and you
must do because you hang out with normal people all the time because you've got kids around, Ron. Like if someone's like, "Oh man, I saw this," and it's just like, "Oh, like you really like 2.5 Men, huh?" Like,
no, I
don't care. Like, who cares?
No, I know, but I just like it's telling me, well, we're probably not all that aligned. So this conversation,
I know plenty of people who like a lot of great stuff that also like 2.5 Men. That's the problem.
That's just an example of a thing.
I know, but I'm just saying that's the problem with dismissing anyone based off one thing. One data point is that people are.
Well, there's always.
I watch a lot of Bravo shit. You guys probably think is the worst thing ever, but like, I also like a lot of stuff that you guys like. So like this, it's just people are
one data point. You like a lot of crap. No,
but like that's the point. Like I'm older. I don't care what anybody watches.
I have a good friend who I podcast with who is not you guys in my other world. This person watches a lot of bad TV and listens to a lot of music that I don't like, and it just slides right by me. I don't care, I still trust their taste.
Oh, you can like other things about them, but there's certain things like, well, like our aesthetic just isn't the same.
Yeah,
and but again, I don't think that's based off of one thing. That's not.
No, but there's not always just one data point. There's many data points all the time. There's all sorts of things that tell you like, oh.
But you can still like some. You can still like someone even if they have awful taste.
We've drifted to liking the person as opposed to their taste, which is the question.
Right? Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pivoted to that, admittedly, but I guess the question is that like I challenge the notion that there is some universal truth or agreement that there is some IP that is held up on a pedestal and is irrefutable. And if you find someone who doesn't like it, then therefore they cannot be trusted.
I mean, except for the first Star Wars.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, good point. Fair point.
Goodfellas.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
Godfather.
No, good. No, even that's not for
people who
everybody.
don't like anti-heroes, don't like watch people who are
I mean,
bad
I've talked
stuff.
to people. I've talked to people who are like really taken aback by the violence of Goodfellas.
Okay,
Yeah.
that I know, I get that.
I was like,
that.
you think Goodfellas is violent? And they look at me, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm desensitized." Okay,
Well,
yeah, okay.
most of it's off screen. Most of it's off screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the stabbing at the beginning.
No, there is violence, but most of the violence happens off screen.
Right.
There's certainly violence. There's certainly beating people to death.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, I'm just completely desensitized to it, and I recognize that now. But yeah, so man, when he pistol whips the guy in the driveway.
Ron, I think you answered this question in 1000, but just in case, Joe G. The thing about this since Hickman started on X-Men a decade ago, what does Ron think about the Krakoa era? And it's just very
we did that
hot button. I don't know if we did this one exactly.
I did. We did.
So did we do this email?
Yeah, we did.
Because it was not on my list of things we did. All right.
I'll give the same. I'll give the same answer. I loved the genesis of it. I loved what Jonathan put together to start with it. And then once they expanded to 90,000 titles, it lost the thread. And once Jonathan moved on and they expanded the writer group, then it just kind of it spun out of control. So
this is a very hot button topic with the X-Men fans. They're all there's a large contingent that are still emotionally attached to that era and won't give it up. Which
I mean, I really liked the idea of doing something radical in the spirit of Giant Size X-Men, in the spirit of Grant Morrison X-Men. I like the generational chapter kind of statement that Jonathan was doing it. I was bummed that he didn't see it through.
So our next email is from Drew G, who wrote like 15 unhinged questions. And normally I'd skip these, but they're kind of fun. There's a Drew G in the chat room. I don't know if you're the same Drew G, and I mean unhinged in the best possible way. So we're gonna do at least some of these, and I'll just gonna.
They have bullet points.
There's sub questions. We're not gonna give each one of these 20 minutes, but let's just go quickly.
Saying we're 50 minutes in, and
we're on
the first
18.
question took 20 minutes.
We're not
first
good
question.
at this.
What's up with the patron vote? I feel like the voter turnout is always low. Is the low voter turnout a reflection of the fact that it isn't compulsory to vote in America, and a lot of the patron base is American? I live in Australia, and voting is compulsory. And since becoming a patron, I have taken my vote seriously and completed it most weeks.
Bravo!
Am I just conditioned, brainwashed, being an Australian? How can we increase the engagement? Wouldn't this help your mental health by potentially avoiding such picks as Captain Planet? Are you particularly masochistic when it comes to discussing comics you don't particularly like? Do you guys even care if we could? I know my faith in voting, elections, and government wanes as the years go by. Am I completely barking up the wrong tree? That's the first question.
I mean, I think I think we wish every patron voted. I think it would be way more interesting if every patron voted. You know?
Ron, you tell me. I mean, it's been a couple of years since I worked in online marketing. But isn't 10% still kind of like the level of engagement on the internet?
Pretty much, yeah.
We go from between 9 and 13% every week. That seems to be pretty much the internet's engagement level.
Yeah. I mean, you got people who are just like, hey, we like the show. I want to support it. Here's my money. I don't want to do anything.
Right.
And that's the majority of folks.
Which is fine.
That's fine with us too. We'll take your money.
Josh's attitude also.
Thank you for your support. But then the idea, the thought is that let's give you a way to participate and be a part of the show. And if 13% of you want to take advantage of it, fine. Obviously, we wish you more could. But
you're giving those people a greater voice. So
Gold in the chat says we should make it so you can't hear the show unless you vote.
That would I think that would be more
that's a little draconian.
It
would be deleterious to our.
But it is what you make of it.
I wish everyone voted, but but that's about what people engage in on the internet. Question 2.
His second question is basically just kissing up to Conor now. So
no, it's not. Does anyone keep statistics on the patrons? How has it changed over time? What's the highest concentration of patrons, i.e. the old Frapper map concept? Are you happy with the overall model of Patreon? Anything you would change apart from eccentric billionaires coming on board? We don't keep any. I mean, Patreon probably has stats in there, but we don't keep them. I don't have any spreadsheets on the state.
He's got spreadsheets on other things, but I mean, yeah, we have some data. We follow the data of how many patrons we have and how it ebbs and flows. Yeah. And I mean, overall, the model of Patreon, we're happy because it's helping us support to do the show. there's some things we'd love to see change, but like it doesn't like there's always something we'd want to change, right?
Ron and I have gone to the Patreon seminars, and
I know I'm actually both Conor and I are members of Patreon's ambassadorship. We're Patreon ambassadors. In fact, I
went to East Hollywood. I sat in the fucking small groups. So
I have a direct line to Patreon to complain about things and get stuff done and stuff like that.
In fact, the idea to do the after show came from that seminar. So that's anyway.
But no, I mean, but if anything we could change, it's just like it as always is like, how do we reach more people? But that's not a Patreon challenge. That's a general internet podcast everything challenge. So
I think there's a question that later on.
Solve that for any of us. So
his third question,
we have a really high engagement though compared to so if you're listening to this or you're a patron or whatever, like you guys are way more into this than most people's patrons.
We are above average on Patreon,
right?
Per their numbers, so.
Which is why we were invited to the thing. Question 3: were there any cardinal rules you guys set for the podcast 20 years ago? It seems like talking politics has been a thing you guys actively avoid. Would you consider this a cardinal rule? Are there any rules that you have needed to add as the years went by? The only cardinal rule was we try to be positive.
We try to wear shirts.
Well, that was not
because you know what?
In the non-video era, there were many shows I did without a shirt.
Listen, and it was the less we knew, the better.
Yeah, I got really excited about a book. No, I just would like it was like I used to record early in the morning, and so I would just roll out of bed and not wear a shirt. I did a Zoom meeting this week without pants.
The positivity is sort of it, but not entirely.
No, we said we would try to come from a positive angle. We wouldn't be positive all the time, but we would try to talk about the books we liked as opposed to appreciate books we hated. We had more fun when talking about the books we liked and why we liked them as opposed to
right.
And if you unless it really sucked, like the Century's Fallen Sun.
And if you were going to criticize them, you needed a reason. Like the no politics rules, pretty self-explanatory.
No politics, no religion, but that was more for the website than for the show.
Yeah, but even so, it's just that it's everything all the time, and it's always there. It's like it's not hard to read.
Yeah,
like every once in a while, someone would be like, "I can't believe you talked about it." Like I was like, "Have you been listening?" Like, there's context for everything, but rules.
All right. Anything else?
We're very, very, very committed to the schedule. I mean, like that's a rule. Like we don't ever let it drift. That's important.
We do have some rules that are just boring, but just to go behind the curtain about advertisers, like we won't take any like cigarettes or like gambling and like stuff like that. There's I think we said no adult toys.
That's literally the next question.
Oh, really?
Question 4: how has advertising and sponsorships with the iFanboy podcast evolved over 20 years? Early sponsors seemed to be much more comic focused. These included Comic Hole, Geek Armor, The Netflix, Jim Hanley's Universe. Since starting at episode 1 recently, I've been listening to an absolute bunch of your current Shopify and Schedule 35 ads, which are decidedly not comics related. Also, how do you guys decide who does the adverts? Short straws, thumb more, rock, paper, scissors? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, we want money. We want money from whoever.
Well, in the beginning, we were getting the sponsorships. So we reached out to people we knew, which were the comic people. Now,
exactly
20 years, the model of how comic books have advertised.
We have a distributor now.
Drastically,
the distributor gets us sponsorships.
Yeah, we're an agency that represents us, that brings us sponsorships, and part of it is like, okay, we have an audience, and does that match to a sponsor? And we have to vet them. Like we're saying yes, we think that might be a good fit. That might be a good fit. For example, a clothing company came to us that was predominantly like luxe, more female kind of, and I was like, no, this isn't a good fit, and I passed on it. Right, exactly. Like, so we're trying to find the right fits. Like I said, there's some stuff like we didn't want to do fleshlight ads and like stuff like that. Although that would be funny.
Josh,
I'm kind of okay with it now because like before I was like, and now I'm like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
But in the beginning, it was like Jim Hanley's was because we had a relationship with the store. Josh and I worked across the street from it, and we were there all the time. So we made friends with the managers, and they wanted podcasts were new, and they wanted to get advertising. So that's how that came about. Comic Con and Geek Armor, I think, came together. I think they were the same company.
Yeah,
that owned
both
of those. Yeah. But in the beginning, comic book company stuff reached out to us, or we reached out to them. Now it's a different ball game.
Yep.
We do miss
Premium
Mac Weldon. We miss Mac Weldon.
That was a good one. That was fun, and that was also because we knew. I mean, like we that came through an agency, but then I talked to the guy who booked the ads, and he was super into us and super big supporter. And then he left, and then Mac Weldon went away. And so it's like that's what happens sometimes. It takes one.
Say right now though, it's all I still wear or buy.
Nice.
They're not paying us anymore.
Yeah,
I know. But like
we were kind of running out of ways to talk about our underwear, but it still was a fun challenge.
That was fun. Yeah.
Yep.
Question 5: what's your first comic book? Where did you buy it? What was your means of transport for getting it? Have you still got it? Do you still collect the series characters that were in it?
The second question is the most interesting one for me.
Because I thoroughly enjoyed the X-Men 92 cartoon, I went out and bought my first comic book, Uncanny X-Men 341, from a local newsagent, supermarket, hardware shop. I rode down and got it on my bicycle. I still have it in one of my long boxes, but I do not collect it anymore. We did a whole video show about our first comic book, but we can mention it briefly. It's called our first comic. Ron's was
Excalibur number 19. Bought it at Aren't Stationery on Main Street in my hometown. It's no longer in business. And I still have it. And I don't really still collect the characters that are in it, but yeah. So
Josh, yours was you had Wolverine number 1 in there.
Wolverine 1, and then there was like Amazing Spider-Man 315, 316. It's all a blur from the sort of area. So I bought some of them at Down East Comics, which was on Main Street in my hometown, and then another one at Lavertier's, which is a drugstore that had a little arcade and also on Main Street. And they had a spinner rack outside of that. I don't remember the order in which way they were. Both of those were procured on foot. I walked around the town and I went there.
Not skateboard?
Weren't allowed. Actually, around that time, maybe. Nah, probably not. It's close. It's like comic books and skateboard, kind of like one went to the other. My skateboard got stolen and I stopped skating. That's what happens.
As I said in the show, I've always had comics around, so I couldn't tell what my first one was. But as I said in the show, the first one I remember buying actively was 1987 Justice League 5 and 6 of the Giffen de Matthias Maguire era, which I bought at a 7-Eleven on a cross-country road trip. So it was procured via car in a 7-Eleven, and they were both there. So it must have been, an old copy. Last month's comics were there too. And yes, I still collect those characters. Question 6. Well, I haven't done any of these silly things for quite a while. Having recently gotten more engaged with comics since becoming a newish patron, recently I had the opportunity to buy a 1 in 50 David Aja cover of Batman #1 from my local comic book store. I said no because I'm not feeding the variant beast. Also, to catch up with the latest Captain America series by Zdarsky, I settled for a second printing of issue 1 and 2 instead of chasing first printings from America, where the shipping price makes it quite prohibitive. I have never bought a second printing on purpose. I have one short box shelf space left on my comic shelves, and I have no idea what I'm going to do when it's filled. Is this what a midlife crisis looks like for a comic collector? I mean, I could just be finally growing up. If you don't mind me asking, what's your midlife crisis look like, and how have you dealt with it?
Which one?
I feel like I can't afford to have a midlife crisis. I think it's for people who...
I've had multiple ones.
I think that's for people...
Or just one long extended one? Or...
Yeah, I think it's just chapters of the same one.
Actually, it turns out those are just like ADHD. Like, I'll do this for 5 years completely.
I feel like midlife crises were for guys in the 50s who could afford to have like 2 families and a sports car and
I think
do those things. I can't.
Yeah, but it's.
I can afford a girlfriend.
Have 2 families. So.
It's still brought on by like oh fuck, I'm this old and I can't
but I can't afford to do anything about it.
Yeah, I know, but like
I'm not buying a sports car.
A midlife crisis.
I joined a band.
A midlife crisis is a transitional period, typically between 40 and 60, marked by self-reflection and questioning one's identity and life choices. It can lead to feelings of anxiety, regret, and dissatisfaction. It may manifest as a desire for drastic changes, a yearning for youth, and a new pursuit of life goals. So, considering that I have the same haircut and wear the same clothes I've been wearing since high school.
Right.
Like I don't think I've crossed the midlife crisis Rubicon yet. Knock on wood. I don't really regret anything. I haven't looked back on anything in anger. Oasis. I
can't believe you just David Brented that.
I know.
You didn't have to explain
Oasis.
Oasis. Yeah, well, I don't know, man.
His final question.
Good luck with that.
What was everyone's golden age for iFanboy? We'd like to see if everyone has different opinions, and if so, why? What was the golden age of iFanboy for everybody?
I mean, what's golden age mean? We're all going.
I think it's when we were doing it full time.
Yeah, probably like the 08 to 10, 2008 to 10.
When I spent all my creative energy and all my energy on doing iFanboy, writing articles, doing 7 new podcasts a week. Again, pioneering video before there was YouTube. Like that was the most fun and the most fulfilling time.
And also the sort of growing
and a staff, and then with people
we go to shows and people knew
or
us,
parties and stuff like that. I would say probably the pinnacle was probably the the New York party, the Idle Hands, that like 2011, whenever that was, that
11
like,
and 12. There was
that,
two Idle Hands
yeah,
parties.
like 2010, 2011, 2012, like that was kind of the peak, was when we could throw a party and get Remender and Kieran and like people to DJ the party, and
Right.
we were, it wasn't like a big ask to get creators to not only come to our party but actually be draws because they wanted to be there. Like that was a lot of fun, and be able to bring them with the audience, with our listeners, was even better. Like that was
because we respected them and then they respect us back.
Exactly.
Like, awesome.
Yeah.
Like
that was also the peak. If you look at in terms of listenership, 2011 was like the crazy peak.
Well, yeah, well, that was
Because-
before they started changing all the
Right, but also with-
the
metrics.
2011 was when New 52 happened. When that happened, our listenership exploded because
Yeah.
people came back to comics, started looking for podcasts, and so
Yep.
we were like on a nice slow incline, and then suddenly we shot way up in 2011, and all those people left and came back down to the other space. But that's when we were like, this is great. We're gonna do this forever, which we are. Just not
Sure.
not the way we thought. Ron, who's next? Ron,
Am I?
19. Do 19.
19. Okay. Andrew from Austin, Texas says, I've been thinking about this question since early June when you answered a listener's question about a desert island graphic novel scenario. I don't recall what Conor chose, and I think Josh chose Watchmen, but can't be bothered to go check. It's a true iFanboy person right there. If Josh and Conor were washed up on a desert island together and Josh had Watchmen with him, how long would you all have to be stranded before Conor read the pirate portions? Would it be longer or shorter than when you'd start picturing each other as giant food objects, Looney Tunes style?
I think he would never read it just because he's stubborn and he would never he would die on that hill. Perhaps literally.
I don't know. Yeah, that might be the only scenario I wish I'd read them.
It's just a decision that a young man made.
Nothing has changed it. It's just a real. I've seen the pirate parts animated on the cartoon. It's just an allegory for the rest of the story. I'm watching the story. I don't need an allegory about it.
You can talk to Alan Moore about that.
I'm reading the story.
Right, I'm reading it. I don't need to see a pirate then reenact what I just read. Like it's the same story.
So, like I said, he's not going to read it. He's
but
just
I've also
be out there.
I've experienced
sunburned lips, talking to a fucking volleyball, and he's like, I don't need to read it. And I'd be like, no, Ron's dead. That's not. You don't have to talk to him anymore.
Oh, we just made it. We talked to Ron's corpse as a way to stay sane.
If I was
just slowly rotting,
we were both dead, I would still talk to you like you were still there.
Are we not eating each other? Have we died?
I mean, does any of those details don't really impact the fact that you're not going to read that just because.
His second question is, in episode 990, Conor said X-Men fans would likely be upset if the X-Men returned to Westchester. He's probably right, since fans are crazy. By the way, I disagree. I wish they'd go back to Westchester.
No, I do too, but
yeah. But what leads him to think that? I don't follow any message boards or fan communities or anything since the Revision 2 board shut down, so I don't really know what the vocal fan bases complain about. But I also recall you all saying folks hated the Zeb Wells Amazing Spider-Man run, which I quite liked. What angry fan communities is Conor monitoring to notice these opinions?
I like the use of the word monitoring.
Yeah. Is it just our fans in the Discord?
It's our fans, but also I used to read
the Vibe,
Tom Brevoort's Substack every week before he was forced to quit it because the fans were crazy. There was a couple of things I would just sort of to keep up on sentiment, and certainly a lot of our Discord fans will say they've been to, on Reddit or wherever, and they've reported back what people are thinking and feeling, and that's part of. It's all just small data points, but or you just you stumble on stuff, you stumble on comments on a story or somewhere, not ours, but that's how I knew that everybody hated Zeb Wells' Spider-Man. Just because anywhere you would go, Spider-Man would be talked about, and people would show up and start yelling.
And that was pretty universally hated.
Or whenever we would post on Instagram about Spider-Man being pick of the week or whatever, we would get comments from people who don't follow the show saying how much the run sucked. And I was like, oh, so clearly this is when this pops up in the general feed, people see it and they just it's just sort of being online a little bit. And
but I mean, just saying if this thing changed, X-Men fans would hate it. That's a safe bet. There's not a big over/under on that one. That's Ron, you'd like it, but would a lot of
I would too. But that's
yep.
That's from me that's partially our fans. It's partially the Brevoort comments. It's partially other things saying like the last thing we need is the reset back to Westchester in school. And that's exactly what I want because I think
that's the time. But yeah, that's the time that we liked. So,
like,
but also like it's
reset or just like bringing them back.
No, but like
there
going
with a
back,
new-
like
go back to the roots. Yeah, go back to the
roots.
mansion and
Isn't
like,
that what
Jason?
God, Jason. Yeah,
That was so much fun.
that was a
with
great
the Jean Grey school. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that was too short lived, if you ask me. Going back to the previous question, by the way, if you had to guess what our most viewed video on YouTube was, it is the Hitler reacts to the DC reboot from 2011, which has over 100,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah, we hit the right zeitgeist for that one.
It still gets views, still gets thousands of views.
Yeah,
so yeah,
that was I was proud of that one.
That was so fun to write.
That was you and Paul writing it.
God, yeah.
All right, Josh, you're 21.
Are we just going straight through? All right.
Would you rather us go zigzag?
I don't know. You should start skipping around.
I've been skipping quite a lot.
he has.
Okay. Diddy P. 1. Anybody dropping Marvel Comics from their pull-off list?
Oh boy.
Wow, I don't know why I said pull off. That's a British way of saying. Anyway, anybody dropping Marvel Comics from their pull list in order to send the message to Walt Disney Company that firing Jimmy Kimmel for the president violates the Constitution?
This was written a while ago, obviously.
No,
because I don't think Disney would even notice.
Yeah, unfortunately,
you don't boycott the least important part of a company's business. You boycott their most important part. So it'd be like the parks or the streaming service.
Also, when 45% of all entertainment comes from one place, it gets tough.
Yeah, but you don't boycott the smallest, least important thing.
Yeah.
Josh, two.
How was the 2012 Morrison Con? Hey, I haven't seen you for 13 years. How was that con?
It was fun.
Probably more fun for me than Ron.
I'm still tired. Took
It was
years
great.
off my life. It was fun. It was great. It was magic in a weekend. It was wonderful. I like that. 13 years later, getting around to asking how it was.
But I also like that it's achieved this sort of mythical status because nothing has ever come out of it really, other than like the photos people took, or because you guys recorded everything, but then weren't able to release anything. So you had this thing where only the people who went really knew what happened there.
Yep.
Which was just a lot of mescaline and sex.
No.
Though for one person. But
it was pretty magical.
It was I mean, you guys did a really good job of taking this idea and putting it in comics and making a really unique experience for people and having them get to hang out with some of the biggest people in comics at the time and the kind of access you don't get at regular cons. And it was fun. Yeah. It was good. So let's skip his third. I want to read the next one just because I think it's funny. John H wrote in and said, since Connor's been talking about his love of erotic thrillers in comics, just that one, but it's fine. Have you ever read porno comics? There's a webcomic called I Roved Out in Search of Truth and Love by Alexis Flower. I Roved Out in Search of Truth and Love by Alexis Flower. That features probably the best art I've ever seen in a comic, but I've never seen a reputable outlet cover it. Obviously, sex and nudity make it taboo, but the level of craft and display is next level stuff. So have you ever read a porno comic? I say this because he capitalized porno every time he wrote it, which at first I thought it was a book he was talking about. Like when he said porno comic, I thought it was the title.
He's just thinking the word wasn't that impactful enough on its own because it is.
Yeah. Would you? If not, why not? Sure. When I was a kid. When I was a teenager.
I was about to say something that wasn't supposed to be a double entendre, but it would have been. I was about to say, I don't actually come across them that often. Wasn't a joke. I literally.
Well, I mean, in the 90s, you had there was Penthouse put out comics, and they hired big name creators. They had Adam Hughes and Kevin McGuire and people drawing them. I'd certainly sought those out when I was, in high school. And yeah. But
are you using your sexy voice to talk about this?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Drop an octave.
I mean, I think that the intention's not the same. Like when I'm like, oh, I want to read some comics, I don't think. What about some fucking in comics though? I just it's not.
But that happens in comics. You mean explicit? But that happens in comics too. We read the Booksplode. The Booksplode book was pretty explicit, and the sex book that Joe Casey did was really explicit. That's Image.
Yeah, but those weren't like so like having explicit stuff in it is not exactly the same thing as having something be pornography. Pornography literally exists like for the point of arousal, and so it's not exactly the same thing, I guess. But even so, like I didn't search those things out
Did
because
you guys
of it.
read heavy metal?
No, but it was also just never. It was just never
I didn't
my.
know.
It was never my vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't. I just wasn't interested in it. It's not a moral thing or one another. It's like if I want some pornography, then I would probably get some pornography. I wouldn't be like, what if I can get comics with this?
Well, I think that I haven't. Similar. I mean, like Milo Manara and like stuff like that. Like we've seen, kind of like
Manara's one of the best artists of all time. He's just
exactly, fantastic art. But like, but I think there's also there's a correspondence with the increased accessibility to actual photographic and video based pornography, and lessen the need for comic based pornography for sexual satisfaction. Let's just put it at that. That's the thing.
You're right. Because when there wasn't everything, you take what you could get.
Exactly.
Right.
And if you get your hands on porn comics, but the thing is, like, I do remember that first year at San Diego when we were walking the floor at San Diego, and then we stepped onto the red carpet and looked at a couple tables and went, "Oh, we're in a different section," and like there was a whole section that was like an adult section, right? And it was like, ooh, and I don't think they have that anymore because it's gone so kind of mainstream. But there's a long legacy of counterculture, adults only kind of comics, which I think and to Conor, to your point, there have been some amazing artists, amazing stories. I haven't gone down that route. I'm looking at my shelf and I'm trying to think of what even comes close to that, but nothing really.
I think erotica is fine. I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think
that's different though.
Totally agreed.
No, but
is it?
I think it's different than pornography. Pornography, the idea is like this is so you can jerk off. I mean, what
do you think Silk Stockings was?
No, that's just softcore because they couldn't put
right, but that's what it was designed for. Just even
I know, but then there's also
what's the difference between erotica and pornography? Then isn't erotica the same thing?
I think it's more of an artistic pornography.
Well, so what I would say,
honestly, I think that's the difference.
I mean, like you can't. It's hard to define pornography. I know when I see it, blah blah blah. But I think that like it has an intention. I'm sure that there's a lot of erotic comics out there that are explicit or whatever, but it's like somebody trying to make art out of it. They're trying to, and then there's a lot of it's just like.
Well, that's the Maria Lovett ones we're reading.
Right. So like it has to do with intention, and it has to do with what it is you like. I'm sure there's fantastic adult explicit comic books out there, but how I would find them, and I'm not all that interested in it compared to just like shit that people are putting out so that they get consumed, so because people are turned on by it.
We're on to 23.
All right, I was in Wikipedia reading about adult comics. 23. Darren from
Wikipedia.
Darren from California says, have you all ever really, truly, seriously considered hanging up the boots at some point? iFanboy has been through the ringer, bought and sold and whatnot. Was there ever a time where you all collectively said to yourself, this is it? I challenge Darren's question because I don't really know that we've been through the ringer, as it were. Well, there have been ups and downs, and it's definitely been a journey. But I don't want to speak for you guys, but at no point has it really have I really felt as if we've been through the ringer.
No,
like we've been in a steady state of mediocrity, just not mediocrity, but like at a certain level, kind of like almost like Pong bouncing along, and like there have been some peaks, there have been some valleys, but we've been very, very lucky to.
It's one of a standard deviation of the middle.
Yeah, exactly. So I challenge the thesis of that question.
Well, that being said, Josh did quit for 24 hours. You did
probably.
Yeah,
you did.
Okay,
you got that job at Nickelodeon. We were going to go. Ron and I were going to go off and do graphically, and you said I can't afford it, which we totally were fine with. And then you came back 24 hours later, so I changed my mind. For 24 hours, I was freaking the fuck out. I wasn't sleeping. I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do with that. Just being Ron. We need a third person.
And I don't remember that at all. So there goes that. Yeah.
I mean, we told the story before. I think probably at 950. But I remember when I moved here into LA, I was 33. I just turned 34 like the month after, and I was having lunch with Mike Romo in Malibu, and I was like, there's no way we're doing this show when we're on 40. I remember distinctly saying that, but that wasn't like hang it up. I thought we would peter out, but we picked up steam, and that's what happened.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like I feel like Josh said it on one of these anniversary shows is where you can't imagine a life without it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And
I actually was thinking about it the other day. I was like, if we stopped doing iFanboy, I don't know what I'd do with all my free time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what I would do. Probably heroin.
I mean, you know, I know I do much less than you guys do these days. And, you know, but like I had a similar when All About Android when Twit canceled All About Android and I was like, oh, wow.
Wait, is that other thing he does?
Well, yeah, but then there was an opportunity after 12 years to stop doing a weekly show. And it's like, oh, I'll get Tuesday nights back. I'll get all this stuff. And that lasted like a week and a half before we spun up the new show and just kept it going. And now doing it for 3 more years.
I do think you need to have that personality to do what we do, though.
Sure, absolutely.
I think if you don't have that personality, then you don't make it to 20 years.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And it's because it's hard. It is hard. It didn't look hard from the outside, but from the inside, it's a lot of work.
And I will say that I think we have discussed stopping mainly in response to Josh's query, when can we stop? And I think that, you know, generally we collectively say when people stop listening. Right, like
or it stops being fun, or it stops being fun,
or when it stops being fun, But like when the audience dries up, or when it becomes more work than being fun, or whatever. Like those are the two things that are the most important. And like as long as those things are happening, then it keeps happening. You know. So.
And I even question how much the first was as important as the second one. I think since Josh and I sometimes joke that if it was 5 people listening, we were still having fun doing it, we'd probably still do it. But I don't know that that's true or not. But we'd see.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat says when someone dies, we've joked about that a lot.
They really, and I mean, like, you know, if Josh died, he'd want us to continue.
Yeah,
that's really what it is. I mean,
sure, whatever it takes. Whatever.
I've already got an AI Josh ready to go, ready to deploy.
After I'm dead, say whatever. It doesn't. You know, whatever justification you need to do whatever it is you do, you have my blessing.
Josh, you 24.
By the way, Josh was very silent in that conversation just now.
I'm getting tired. Damien S, aka the Commandant, from Pittsfield, Massachusetts. I've been there. On episode 995, you took a question about if you had ever had to re-record an episode, which kicked off a separate lengthy conversation. That's what they do, about the software used back in the early days of the show, getting as granular as possible from the moment y'all sat down to record a show to the editing process to the distribution method. How exactly was a show produced in the old days versus how it is done now? That's a question. Yeah, I didn't know it was a question because he didn't mention
what's the
how
question?
long he'd worked on it. It's how did we do it then versus how do we do it now? Granularly.
Like a behind the scenes production question?
All right,
I think he wants to know the software and the method.
So way back in the day, we used Skype. We recorded it in a couple of different ways. I believe Power Gramo was the first one that we used, which allowed us to
record the conversation.
Often crashed.
And I think later we found some way to do it and split the tracks. That got smarter when we had audio hijack. I don't remember what we used for mics back then.
Audio Yetis. Yeti Blue.
That early?
We had the circular Yetis.
The blue Yeti.
But the first bit when we were playing, like,
no, we were when it's the first year.
Yeti's not the brand. It was the Snowballs, the blue Snowballs.
Blue Snowball. Right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Blue was the company. Snowball was the mic.
And then we went to Yetis after they put the Yetis out. Yetis were better than the Snowballs.
But before the Snowball, we used the crappy headsets that we used from playing World of Warcraft.
Right. Yeah.
The Skype headsets. That's why we sounded awful.
Okay. So then we took that audio, we imported it into Audacity, which is still done today.
We still use Audacity.
Levelator, which
still used today.
The Levelator smooths the track out, so it takes the peaks and valleys and makes them kind of like our careers, like we sort of kind of in the middle. And then Audacity is the program we use to edit it.
And I will say the switch from Power Gramo to Audio Hijack was huge because Audio Hijack was just a better way of recording the stream. And we used Audio Hijack for 15 years, right?
Josh, I don't think we got separate tracks until fairly recently.
Well, what we could do is
we
could split the speaker. When we had Audio Hijack, we could take the speaker, the person recording on their side, and then whoever else was on the other track.
Right, we didn't get everyone had their own tracks, I don't think, until Riverside.
That was not to Riverside, but you could at least,
which is like in the last 7 years we didn't have separate tracks added off of until then.
Yeah.
which is unbelievable.
Yep.
And then
we'd split them. We'd put the like, say whoever initiated the call on
that's
my
right.
side
There was
recording
two
it.
tracks.
You'd put them on the left, and then you'd put the other people on the right and record them on separate stereo channels, and then put them together. But
and then that's why we did everything in mono, because then we would flatten everything out, right? Yeah, yep.
And also, and whenever it has accidentally not been in mono, it's awful.
Yeah.
That's just the correct way to
and
do
then
it.
It used to be I would level it at the end. Now we all level it at the beginning. So I would do the edit and then I would level it after it was exported. Now I level the tracks before the edit.
Yeah, I do that.
And then we give it to our distributor, whoever that is. It's changed several times over the years, and then we do all the notes and all the.
Yeah, I'm just giving them recording. I don't want to.
Right. But now we record in StreamYard, and that gives individual tracks, and yeah.
Now it's a one-stop shop. The same way we record the videos, the same way their audio gets recorded.
Right.
But literally, the edit in Audacity is exactly the same.
Yep.
I mean, exactly the same.
And every once in a while, I learn a new button. I'm like,
Me too. Yeah, I know.
That does that. I
learned how to take notes on time signatures recently. I was like, that's huge. It's Command B, by the way.
Roy S. from Pittsburgh has a couple of music questions I'll ask you guys.
So the original Blue Snowball mic came out in 2005.
Yeah, that's what we use.
Yeah.
We use that.
So we probably got it in 2006.
Did you see
fairly early on
in the Alien show, the Peter Pan kid has like a Yeti mic, and I was like, no, you've just ruined that for me entirely.
Me too. That annoyed me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Roy asked from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I know at least two of you like punk, so I have two punk questions. One, have you heard of Find Ethel? And if so, do you like them?
Nope.
Never heard of them?
Nope.
Yeah.
All right. Number two, have you listened to the Beastie Boys album Aglio e Olio, and do you like it? I'm genuinely curious.
Oh my God. Aglio e Olio. Come on.
I don't know.
It's so disappointing. Aglio e Olio.
Okay.
Well, I could put some French words in front of you. You couldn't say.
Yeah, but still. Anyway, he goes to restaurants. That's with it's with olive oil.
Aglio e Olio.
Yeah. Anyway, so
have you guys heard it? Do you like it?
Yeah, it's fine. I remember when it came out. It came out when we were like in high school or college.
I'm not a huge Beastie Boys fan. Like, they're fine. I just never really listened to it.
My son's gotten into No Sleep Till Brooklyn, so we've listened to that a bunch of times. But yeah, the Beastie Boys are good. They're fine. I mean, I'm not a huge devout, like follower. Yeah. A huge fan of them. Paul's Boutique is good.
I have one album. I have Paul's Boutique.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
yeah. So
all right, let's skip his third question. Go to 26. Another music question from Morgan B1. Why does Ron hate Tom Petty?
Why is the sky blue?
By the way, let's bring this one back to the earlier question about not trusting somebody's taste and what they think about something. Ron, would you respond the same way?
Yes.
If I walked up to you singing Tom Petty and wearing a Red Hot Chili Peppers shirt, would you saying you wouldn't be dismissive of me?
No, I'm already dismissive of you.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then two, Josh, do you still have an interest in creating comics?
No.
You talked about work you've done in the past, particularly on the Old Make Comics podcast, but I understand as a dad of two with a quote unquote real job, I feel like that quote real job is either sarcastic or what? That life gets in the way.
There's a lot to that question. But not really. No, I kind of moved past it. My kid was born. My kid has a lot of developmental disabilities, and life was really, really, really hard for reasons that we didn't fully understand. And I kind of moved past it. And then the next time I was able to look back on it, like the life of being a 35 or 40-year-old comic creator, going to shows all the time, trying to get people to buy my books. I was like,
the hustle.
Yeah. I also just think like there's parts of it that I really like, but you just hear this thing about actually J. Michael Straczynski was one of the first people who ever said it, was that I heard say it, fathead. That was where I named him that, actually. I was at there was the first con. I was like, that guy's a fathead. But he just said like something like, you can't not write. Like if you have to tell stories, you can't not do it. And I was like, I don't think I'm that person. I react to things, I build off on things, I comment on things, I mess with things. I'm not a great originator of things. And I learned that. And I can fake the rest of it, but I don't know. I just thought, I don't think I have that. I could work really well in a TV writer's room because you're bouncing things off and you're fixing things. But sort of to be that one person studio doing everything, I don't think I'm made for it.
Martin S. from Berlin, Germany says, "Why did Ron leave and why can't he come back? I miss him so much. Ron, please come back."
He knows what he did.
I'm right here.
He
I
is.
didn't go, I'm right here, Martin.
You know how long Martin would have had to been around to actually say that?
I'm right here.
Well, Ron left because he went to work for comic companies, and so he
Yeah.
couldn't be on the show. And then,
Right.
then he sort of fell off reading comics.
Yeah, and then life got in the way, and then move on, and then very busy, and then all that sort of stuff. So
he could come on the show, but he wouldn't have much to say.
I know exactly. I would love. Now now I have 2 small children, and time is a precious thing. So
that's why
I'm right. Do you not listen to the Media Explodes, dude? What the f?
And that's why we have Ron on as many other shows as we can, because he can contribute to those shows. But
yeah, go back into 27.
27.
He just wants to see the hometown boy.
Yeah.
Okay. You do that. You read it then.
All right, 27. Matt from East Northport, New York. The scene, you're planning an iFanboy AfterCon party. You magically get to invite one comic book creator and a fictional character they've either worked on or created themselves. Everyone on the 1000th show gets to choose a pairing. However, if a creator is present, they're required to instead pick one of their own characters as their guest. I get to select the venue. I'm resurrecting Idle Hands in New York City, the scene of my favorite and only iFanboy party I got to attend. The previously aforementioned 2011 iFanboy party. So we're throwing another party. Pick one creator that you would invite. And the fictional character they've worked on or created themselves. I'm okay with skipping the fictional character because I don't really like that. But if we're gonna throw a party right now,
that's the tricky part.
Yeah. Who would you invite as a creator?
There's not a single great character I love who I would want to spend actual time with.
Right. Yeah.
Rick Remender and the Scumbag.
Yeah.
Ernie.
What creator then would you invite?
Jerry Siegel and Superman.
He's dead.
Living.
No.
Someone you can actually invite to a party.
What creators would you want to hang out with at a party?
Like, do I have him there to make people happy, or someone that I can just talk to?
No, you want to hang out with. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I tell Tom to come because I don't ever get to hang out with him.
All right, that's perfect.
I mean, is any of like we have a great cadre of people that I don't get to see that I like who make comics. We had some of them on 1000, some of them didn't make it.
Yeah. All right, so Tom King.
You've talked to him, but Conor and I haven't. Like, I would love to hang out with Kirkman one more time to be like, so what's it like now being a mogul?
Yeah.
It's like,
Conor,
we knew you.
Conor, who'd you invite? I know.
Probably Jason, Aaron. He's the one I've had the most fun with hanging out with at parties or bars. He was fun at Morrison Con.
Jason's great. Jason's a good hang.
He's fun at bars.
I would invite Frank Whiteley because I don't think people know how awesome to just hang out he is. He's such a great guy, and he's just so much fun to sit and hang out and drink with. So,
yeah,
someone who I wish did more work. Jeez.
Yeah, no kidding. Josh, 229.
You just wanted me to say that name. Prismek B. I feel bad but that's a hard one to say. Prismek? I'm going with that. Prisemic, which is also a weight loss drug. Looking back over the years, how has your personal relationship with comics changed as reader, fan, critic? How is your personal... I don't have a lot of passion for any of them as like at a personal level in the way that maybe I would have when I was younger. And even then it wasn't so much. I don't feel much ownership of them. The way that I look at them is completely different in terms of like, I'm looking at craft, and if something craft can be so good that I forget about it and I forget about who's making it and what it does, then it actually gets me into a story. That's something special.
Yeah, I guess personally for me, having been on the other side of it, knowing all the behind the scenes has definitely changed. Seeing the decisions and knowing the negotiations and stuff, and the approach to creators and all that sort of stuff. It takes a little bit of the magic out of it and makes it more into a product than a creative. Like you guys have a little more arm's length to it, so there's a little more of a respect for the creative standpoint for it than just than a number, So.
Oh, I mean, but although we know way more than the average reader does.
Sure, yeah, you do, yeah. So.
I don't know that it's changed all that much, although it's hard to say because it's been such an integral part of my life for like 45 to 48 years I've been alive. So it's hard to say what has changed. I still get a thrill out of reading them. I still love reading them. I still, want to follow my favorite characters' adventures. That's primarily why I'm reading them. And so, I definitely, through the course of the show, we were much more conversant and much more interested in the craft of it. I mean, that's Josh's primary thing, but it's not my primary thing. But that's my appreciation for that side of it has certainly grown in the 25 years of doing iFanboy, the 20 years of doing the show. The art form of it as opposed to just the storytelling. But I don't know. It's just hard because it's such an ingrained part of my life. It's hard to even separate myself from it as a thing.
Yeah. I do know that, like, for the past 2 years of change, like, I've basically been slowly reading through all of the original G.I. Joe, all of the Lone Wolf and Cubs, and all of Usagi Yojimbo, and that seems to be the most enjoyment I'm getting out of comics right now. And it's because it is completely disconnected from everything we're sort of having to do on a weekly basis. It's just like I'm reading these serialized stories that like are just fun and cool, and I don't have to worry about talking about them or anything. I enjoy them. I've enjoyed reading those books so much. Still, I'm like 100 issues into all of them, and I don't know that I would have been able to enjoy that in that way when we were starting doing this or whatever. But now it's like this little, like, I'm just enjoying some comics over here for myself.
Right.
That's different than what we do with a lot of our stuff.
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna have to jump. We're jumping way ahead because we're probably about 3/4 of the way through this show now. Let's do. There's one I wanted to jump to. Oh, okay. This one. I definitely want to talk about this one. 39. Nick P. from Folkestone, England. He says, I've been thinking about this question for exactly 1 week. Why is there a / in the iFanboy 2025 logo? Shouldn't it just be iFanboy 2025 without a slash? I figured maybe it's supposed to represent the years 20 to 2025. Wouldn't that just be 20-25? Is this a weird American thing, like how you do format days and months that I'm just not aware of? I realize this is pedantic as shit, but I can't unsee it.
Because it's two numbers. We're referring to two different numbers.
Two different anniversaries.
Yeah, the year 2025 is made up of two different anniversaries: our 20th anniversary and our 25th year anniversary. So we're splitting the year in two to show that it's two anniversaries.
25 years of iFanboy as an entity, 20 years of the podcast.
We literally say at the top of every show.
Yeah.
At the top of every show. It's the 25th year of doing iFanboy, or 20th year of doing the podcast.
Maybe he's like me. If he hears something too many times, he forgets it.
Yeah, it becomes noise.
I will say, like, there's a level of pedanticness where is that the word? Pedantacity? I don't know. Pedantic, saying that it's a / and then also including in parentheses an example of the / really means that he's been thinking about it, if not time-wise for a long time, at least in a very in-depth way. And I have to respect that. Pedantry?
Pedantry.
I think that's 40.
Right. Pedantry. What, at 45?
40.
Pedantacity,
40.
Which was a Police album.
All right, Dan from New Jersey writes in and says, what long-term impact, if any, had Wizard Magazine had on comics? I don't think anyone is still reading Joseph Michael Lisner's Dawn, no matter how much they hyped it up. But there were also champions of books like Usagi Yojimbo and Justice League International, as well as early champions of indie books that might otherwise have fallen under the radar, like Bone and Strangers in Paradise. What, if anything, is the legacy of Wizard Magazine decades after it finally died? P.S. My mostly non-comics reading wife still occasionally throws out weird comics information she gleaned from reading copies of Wizard I left in the bathroom early in our relationship.
That's weird.
That is weird. I'll tell you what. There is an entire generation of former Wizard staffers that are now currently working throughout the industry. Great example, current writer of many comics and friend of iFanboy, former publicist at DC, Alex Segura, former Wizard staffer, current head of talent, not head, I don't know what his current role is, but managing talent over at Marvel, Ricky Purdon, ex-Wizard staffer. The list just goes on and on and on.
Ryan?
Ryan Panagos, he's not so much working at Marvel these days, but working for Disney in general after years of working at Marvel, but is, ex-Wizard staffer. Like,
wasn't one of the big DC editors was one of those guys who was like a big guy. Wizard.
The wizard roots of like the dudes who worked there in the late 90s, early 2000s proliferated into the industry and have stuck around and have had a huge influence on comics for the last 20 years for sure. So that's one influence of Wizard. So,
and I would just say, one of the other ones is like when I first saw it, like was the first time that I saw images or words from the people who made comics. And so it was like, here's this other like here are the people doing this thing.
First time you saw their
which-
pictures, and
right? And that, I mean, that I think has a lot to do with how we perceive creators. You think about when that happened and when it went away. When Wizard went away, we headed right into like the real era of the creator, the Marvel architects, the knowing who all the people are. Like they made celebrity, like between the Image thing and the bankruptcy, like the superstar creator became a thing, I think, that had never before. And so that personality mattered also, which obviously we picked up to a certain extent and other people have. And
well, just the fact of knowing who is doing these things, and there's a face and a thing. Like you knew names certainly, but in the 80s,
and I knew because they had a list who was best.
Who was the top 10 artists?
This was Mark Silvestri is the best apparently because he's at the #1 slot again.
Josh do 43.
40, I remember doing 43. It was good. It's a lot better than 48. Eddie R. of Soledad, California says, I'm in the middle of revisiting Seinfeld again, and I realized Elaine is my favorite character. Anyway, do you not remember reading this to Bendis because you were blackout drunk? Is that what this is? Because we asked Bendis this.
We did this on the 1,000. Yep.
Did we do this one?
Yes, we did.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Elaine is the funniest person on the show other than Putty.
But did we talk about our favorite
Frank
characters, or
Costanza.
just he talk about his favorite characters?
He started to, and then we talked about something else.
Right, that's my point.
really
We didn't answer the question.
All right, so I realized Elaine is my favorite character. Anyway, the question is, what is your current favorite Seinfeld character and episode moment? Good luck with that. Do you have a current favorite Seinfeld character?
Yeah, I answered in the show. It's Frank Costanza.
Yeah.
And its favorite moment on the show is you got the A, you got the B.
Get the C and the D.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Everything
That's-
comes out of that man's mouth is brilliant.
That's the biggest.
Yeah. That guy, he's not
Josh,
my kind
you
of guy.
watch it all the time. What is your favorite character?
I think Frank Costanza is the thing that like has the highest, like he's not on it as much as you would think, but
it's a home run every time.
Yes.
right, every single thing.
Yep.
Every like
Jay Buhner.
the paw. What did you trade Jay Buhner for?
You don't even like baseball.
No, I know, but that's what makes it. It's that good. Yeah, it's either if it's not Frank Costanza, then it's Elaine. I think as I've gotten older and sort of understand, like, hey, that woman's gotten a lot of Emmys, and I've watched. I was like, oh my god, she's. They're all. I mean, like the main. It's an incredible show, but like she's because it's like a teenage boy when it came out, and I was like, oh, the girl's not the funniest one, but I think she's amazing.
Is that based on her on the show or based on her other work?
It is based on her on the show, then having watched like Veep, where she is amazing in a completely different way, and then going back and like sort of seeing what they're doing. Because she doesn't often get like the big laughs. Like she's not the person who runs out of the bathroom and falls down and says Vendelay Industries. Like she's doing a different thing in there, so it's not maybe as obvious. But yeah. But Frank Costanza,
my latex salesman,
100%. Yeah, no, you want to be my latex salesman.
Who? So that's the question. Who's with the highest percentage of hit rate on? Is Frank Costanza? Is it Peterman?
Peterman's okay. I think Putty's higher.
Putty's higher. Yeah.
Putty's. I liked Putty, and then at some point I listened to the commentaries on the DVDs I had forever, and every time. How you learn to really know what they love is that when you listen to Larry and Jerry, and when they can't stop laughing, all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, that is extremely funny," and then it's never not funny again. Yeah.
Ron and I hung out with Putty.
Yeah,
that's I blew Patrick Warburton's mind because I asked him.
Good thing you said mind.
I was a little confused. I was like, "What happened in the back room of the party?"
I asked him what he thinks has a bigger impact in reaching more people, Putty or his role on the Disney ride Soarin' as doing the pre-ride video. And he immediately like, well, Putty. And then he stopped and thought, he's like, well, wait a minute. And then he did the math. He's like, you might be right. The Disney ride might like, I was like, yeah, if you think about it, right? Like it was pretty funny. So.
Ron to 49.
49?
Yep.
All right. 49, Tyler O says, how do you think comics as a medium are viewed now compared to when iFanboy started? Are they just vessels of IP, distinct pieces of art, disposable trash? I've been thinking about this since June 20th, 2025, when struggling to read comics on an iPad beach in Mexico.
You got to watch The Sun. That's the problem there.
Is he on a an iPad beach in Mexico.
Is there a beach
made of
iPads?
iPads? Like, yeah, is there a Mexican?
Tierra del Ipata?
It's all the old iPads have washed up and they've created a beach.
I mean, I don't think they're viewed any differently than they were when we started. I think that there's the collectible contingent. I feel like is the same, right? You got CGC variant covers are still the business hasn't changed.
Do people like if you read comic books in high school though, are you still considered like a nerd? Is that like a thing?
I think it's way more acceptability now than there was in 2000. Way more.
Like it's hard to make fun of somebody for liking Superman when you like every movie that's your favorite movie has been.
Like my friend Jennifer reads comics, and I had no idea that. And we went to college with her. I had no idea in college she read comics. It wasn't, that now people are much more open about reading. I mean, I don't think that might be the only real difference. I mean, maybe seeing it more as an IP factory, but they always.
I feel like that's waning. I mean, we definitely went through the IP factory kind of phase.
But everything's an IP factory.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, we're just in an IP culture now, so.
Yeah. I think that they're not considered disposed. I mean, like, because they're only bought by comic books, like we're talking about weekly issues, Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, whatever. They're pretty much only bought by adult, collectors who are spending a lot of money to read these things. It's not like they're on a newsstand or anything, but there was still a little of that left when we started doing this. Like it was a kid's medium. There was still like a need to prove itself that it could be, but I think we're past that.
I think the whole nerd is cool culture changed just the acceptability, like, celebrities saying they played Dungeons and Dragons, or I think
everybody
people never would have, but they never would have admitted that in the 80s or 90s. And now
everybody gets to have their niche. Everybody gets to like their niche, and it's not cool to have your thing anymore. So that's different, but that's just, I mean, like the world is so fucking different from now. Like it's crazy.
Round 53.
53. All right. 53 comes in. Eric from Valley Village, California says, well, this is a long one. As you guys reach an amazing milestone, I've developed a theory that might explain your longevity or the reason why you haven't burned out yet. Oh, do tell.
Stubbornness.
Listening to this stubbornness, not knowing when to quit. Listening to one of your regular discussions on the state of comics and how it ebbs and flows in quality, I had the realization that I can never really tell when the industry ebbs in quality. You guys share good reads every week. I can't think of a year where there weren't at least 10 or more great ongoing comics, if not dozens more. You highlight them every week, which led to this thought. Has the podcast pick of the week format led to your longevity? By focusing on the positive, I feel like it forces you to find the good in comics every week, avoiding burnout and increasing your appreciation of the industry. I imagine that on Earth 2, the Diss of the Week comics podcast ended years ago.
We would have had huge. It would have been so much
huge.
More
it would have been on Ringer. It would have been it would have blown up.
Negative articles we did
blow up on YouTube. Huge on YouTube.
Yep. I spent approximately 4 hours thinking about this question, 10 or 15 minutes or so after each episode since the summer, which I'm aware is embarrassingly low for an anniversary episode question. Also, I wrote this email weeks ago, but only now just got around to sending it, which I like that. So, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, I think forcing ourselves to see the positivity every week is a great discipline.
I think that's really. Yeah. I think that's very smart.
As a personal burnout, I think that. I mean, ask the anti-fanboy guys how long they went for.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's a good. I mean, but we've certainly on the show said like comics have not been great for months. Like we've certainly said those kind of things. Like this has not been a great year for comics. But
comics goes. Like if you compare the picks of the week from this year to 15 years ago, like it would be interesting to, that might be interesting if we ever wanted to do that, is to do like a retrospective kind of like this week in pick of the week, like these were the comics we read in 2011 and how do they stack up to this week's books or whatever it is, and do a quality assessment type thing if you needed to make more content. But like, looking at it in the macro to see if the periods are better or worse than each other, but finding the good in every week, I think is
there's always good comics, even in the worst aggregate year of comics. There's always good things being published, and so.
But also, we understand like, wait around, another bus will come.
Right.
You know, like it's not like, oh, well, it's not, oh, Saturday Night Dead. Like, you know, it'll be fine. They're just trying to figure out what the next sort of wave is, and that you know, somebody will come along and Daniel Warren Johnson will change everything, and then like that'll be a thing for a while, or you know.
But I do
comes
think his
around.
idea that by focusing on what we like, it's more fun to talk about than, I mean, none of us have the personality where we'd want to come on here and be like, this fucking sucked. And that's why we're not YouTube millionaires.
Yeah.
Josh, do 56.
Alan T says, as discussed on Discord, I am in the midst of a whole Marvel read through. Having started in 2021 with Fantastic Four #1, I've recently crossed over into 1985. That's fucking amazing. I've been asked on more than one occasion when my stopping point might be. I've not decided, so I'd like some advice from y'all. Be as specific as you'd like, but please, no same answers from the crew. Follow up, what would each of you recommend as the next long haul reading project if I should live long enough to finish this Marvel project?
Yeah, so he's been updating us in the Discord. He's read every Marvel comic from Fantastic Four through 1985.
Jesus.
And he's hit some real fallow periods, but he's pushed his way through. I feel like you got to stop when the publishing schedule got insane and they're publishing like a ton of books, right? Like, would that be the 90s?
I feel like, yeah.
Heroes Reborn?
You should stop at the bankruptcy.
Jeez.
I don't know. I mean, like, how long does Marvel only do like the 8 titles a month? When do they get past that? I mean, I know he's past it. I don't know. I mean, if you're doing it, do it. If you made it to 85,
He's basically done 20 years worth of comics.
yeah. 25.
So another 20 years would still only put him in 2005. That's a great year. That's a great time for Marvel.
I mean, it might be interesting if you're going to do the whole thing, then like you're going to see those changes. But the idea of like everyone, I feel like
there's a time
like
when
every book's audience went way down. So we're like, let's make 100 of them.
That's what I mean. I think there's a time when the number of books explodes. And I think at that point, it might be too difficult.
And also not as rewarding just because it's just too much noise. It's too much chaff.
Ron, any thoughts?
Nope.
Okay.
He specifically said you had to give an answer. No, he said not the same answer. So you just demurred. What would you do besides that? I mean, you could do DC, but you have to start.
I was gonna say something. My thought was something DC. Like, I don't know. Like, what is the equivalent on the DC side?
That's the only possible equivalent.
Yeah,
where do you start?
Yeah,
you start at the Flash.
I guess the start of the Silver Age.
Yeah,
that's a lot of books.
Yeah.
Bill S writes and says, my question goes to the video days. I have heard you complain about the decision and look of wearing shorts being a bad one, but wanted to see what you think you did well during that time.
Who complained about wearing shorts?
Josh and I make fun of the fact that we were wearing shorts all the time on the show.
Yeah, we filmed in the summer a lot.
Yeah, but we were sitting on a couch with the camera low. It's just like a lot of leg.
It was a different time. It was wild. It was the early 2000s. Well, we did well. I mean, I think honestly, we were doing long form video before YouTube told everyone to do long form video.
We did. I mean, we did it well.
Yeah,
we did the thing well. I know.
I think we did it as well as we could
at the time. Yeah, with what
I think we did as well as we could. I think we did it as well or better than anybody else did.
No, what I mean is that we didn't have a crew.
No,
we didn't have a cameraman. We didn't have so we had to I would.
But I
wish the camera wasn't locked down.
I know from being out in the world during that time and afterwards, it's not like we got so much positive feedback from like people, but also from like professionals. Like nobody was like, "Oh, you're getting everything wrong." Like it was valid. It was like, "Oh, we're bringing value to people to this," and I mean like I feel like it helped people enjoy their comics more. I feel like it helped comic creators get stuff out in front that other people would like. I love, and we had fun like trying to figure out how to do it and thinking of different things to do and do a different cold open every week. And I mean, I don't think we did. You're right. We did everything we could. We put everything we had into it.
Yep.
And I think, especially that era, that 1 year we did the minis where we did 7 podcasts a week, literally a new show every day. And we just, you get in this sort of fugue state of creativity where you have to put a show out and you have to do a new show. And so like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do for
write-
3 minutes?
I could write 1,500 words on anything.
Right. And plus,
Right.
on top of this podcast, we were doing columns on the website and reviews. And so it was like
Content.
you just had to do it. And I remember it being maddening, but also incredibly rewarding to be able to be like, all right, I have this dumb idea for this iFanboy mini. I'm going to shoot it and it's going to go out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
That was super fun. So I think we did a good job with that.
Shorts thing's kind of a joke. Just
Kind
so
of.
we're clear on that.
It's a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of.
This is we're going to jump way ahead because we're
Wouldn't do it
reaching towards the
today.
end. Yeah, we don't have the calves for anymore.
I have amazing calves still.
It's my greatest feature of my calves.
Yeah. Well, that's
all
what you're
the
running.
running. All the running. Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm going to jump ahead to 64. Mike O from Buffalo. If you had to go, I'm sorry, my college daughter and I have started to rewatch ER. We're still in the first season. I've not watched ER since it first aired and ended. My question is, if you had to go to County General in Chicago, who's your ideal medical team? Starting with your admittance desk, then the emergency room team, all the way to your surgical team. I'm just assuming you're going to need surgery as you are older in life. What doctor do you want working on you? We don't have to go through the whole thing, but what doctor do you want working on you when you go into county?
Always Carter.
I could go with Green.
Yeah.
I could go with Mark. But later, like it depends on what area you're talking about. Like later Carter, after Carter gets back from Africa, like he's shit hot.
Oh yeah,
he's a doctor.
Yeah.
Like he's a little fucked up, but like you'd want him as your doctor because he's basically the guy from the pit at that point, and that guy you trust. I would trust Abby. Abby's a fantastic doctor and also has the nurse stuff. Admitting desk.
Don't worry about that. Just what
Jerry.
doctor would you want?
Yeah, surgical. I'd want Benton. Benton's the best. Benton's the best surgeon. He didn't make mistakes. He just didn't. He didn't have a great personality. But
right, who cares with the personality?
Right. Archie became a really good doctor too.
Yeah.
After being awful. As did Pratt. Pratt became a great doctor too.
I think Carter or Green. I think you want.
If it was my kid,
Doug Ross.
Yeah, Doug Ross. Easy.
What was Sherry Stringfield's character name?
Susan Lewis.
Oh, I loved her. She was great.
Was that who you were working on you?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm trying. I lost track. What number was that?
No, 64.
That was 64.
That was 64. Okay. 65 is Mark V and Josh. You can read that.
Mark V from the little coastal town of Whitstable, Kent, England. It's happened. I'm out again. I seem to go in a cycle of 5 years into weekly comics, 5 years out. I still love comics. I'm buying collected editions to read eventually. I like to check what's coming out each week. I always listen to the show, but being a Wednesday warrior comes in waves for me. Have either of you ever felt the need to jump off for a bit? I hope you never do. That's not even like, it's not a valid question.
The treadmill can't stop for you. It's hard. Once you get off, it's hard to get back on.
I mean, the question always tends to be like, if you weren't doing this, what would you do?
Right.
Yeah.
And the answer is, I definitely would drop off. Not even because of anything. That's because that's how I am.
He needs the structure.
Yeah.
Yes, I need the structure for it, and as such, because of it, I don't think I'd read trades. Like I need them to come out every week. I need to read issues, and I need to have a reason to do it. And so all that works, and I do. If I didn't, I would start doing something else with that time, no doubt.
Ron, do 69.
69. Eric says, I've been thinking about this question for about 2 years. What was it like for you guys watching the 2000 World Series? I don't know you personally, but I imagine Conor was nervous watching every pitch, and Ron was very chatty and acted like the Mets were going to win from the start. We all know how that ended. Just curious what you guys thought about Clemens throwing at Piazza, Pettit picking off Piazza, Myers home running Game 3.
Who's Myers?
I went into the 2000 World Series having zero confidence. For me, the experience of 2000 was all about getting to the World Series. The NLCS was one of my favorite baseball experiences ever. I was in the stadium when they beat the Cardinals. I'll never forget that. Shea Stadium was rocking. It was unbelievable.
Weren't we both in that game?
No, you were. No, this is 2000. This is we were
a different Cardinals game.
Yeah, we were together in 06. We were there for the catch, the Andy Chavez catch.
Right. That's when I thought the
but the 2000 was the Todd Zeal double, and Ankiel pitching and all that fun stuff. But yeah, and then once they got the World Series, I was like, the Yankees are going to beat them. Like I just like it was just like, can they avoid a sweep? That's all it was. Right. And then Clemens throwing at Piazza was just like more. It was just salt in the wound. It was like, oh, this asshole. Like it was just like we got to deal with this bullshit. I don't know. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying.
I hate Subway Series just in general. Like it's not good.
It was fun for the city. At the time, I was working at a TV studio in New York City that had a sports show. So there was a lot of talk. We had a lot of sports people on, from New York who would come on, and so there was a lot of talk about it. So that was fun. But I don't really remember feeling one way or another. We didn't watch it together. Ron, you were still living in Connecticut at the time.
Yeah, so we weren't that tight on baseball until 06. Like that's when when Well,
when I got laid off after 9/11, I remember we went to the Yankee A's playoff game. That was the first time we went to like a playoff game together.
Yep, I remember that.
I think it started around 01. Then we started going to the Yankee Met games that our college would get tickets for. Like that sort of started around that time. But I didn't really I don't remember how I felt about it. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I remember watching it. I remember Clemens roided out Clemens throwing the bat. So I remember all that stuff. But I don't remember how I felt going into it.
Yeah, but I definitely was not chatty or didn't think the Mets were going to win the whole time. Like there was no.
I get
very little confidence.
He was right. I get super like quiet during the World Series games because I don't. Yeah. I'm very focused on. I don't want anything bad to happen.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Matt G from Woburn, Massachusetts. Have you ever had any thought about the other comic-related podcasts that have occurred over the past few years since you guys started? Do you guys ever see in your algorithms newer people on social media interviewing creators and thinking to yourself, we've done it better? Or is it a been there, done that feeling for you? Do you ever wish that you still continued interviewing people at cons with the growing popularity of social media?
No.
Is that a thing on social media? Is it popular on social media?
I mean, I'm sure they take clips of stuff and put them on social media, and that's what it feels though. Like now, I mean, if you want to be an influencer or whatever, it's like grubbing for attention all the time and making sure that you are completely like getting every keyword and algorithm booster and whatever is just to get a view and a like, and that's never the kind of conversation that we'd ever had.
Yeah.
I still don't. Like, I guess we could take an interview or something we do, and we could. I don't care. I don't want that. I don't want to do that work. Yeah. I don't want to. I don't. When I say I don't want to do that work, I don't mean like I normally mean. Like I don't want to do that. I mean like that work specifically, that goal, that thing. Like it's so not interesting to be just so that more people will look at me.
Yeah. And it's not even like a been there, done that feeling or like, oh, we've done it better. It's like great to see people doing it. Like it's there's this PR machine that exists in comics that in this generation or this era that we were around to help the publishers write that marketing playbook, right? Like we were a piece of it, both in the audio and video side of it. And we played our part and we moved on, like that sort of thing. So.
I told someone recently about that. They'd asked about the evolution. And I said, we went to the con in 06 with a camera because we all went to school for TV. We were kind of bored and said, let's just shoot a show. And we were literally the only ones there. And we only, Ron had the idea to put a mic flag on our mic, and that led everybody to think we were legitimate outlets and got us interviews, and that was funny. And then the next year we went back and there was maybe one or two people doing it. And then suddenly in like 3 or 4 years, it was like 1 million people shooting. And I can't even imagine what cons are like now. You can just do it on your phone. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't really think about it. I don't see that stuff in my algorithm.
I'm hardly
on social media at all, so I don't really see anything.
You're not really consuming content about comics because
it's not. I mean, we're not the audience, so
it's never been that way.
And also, we've never really paid much attention to what other people are doing in that way because we're doing our thing. And like, I don't know. I don't consume stuff about comics so much. Like in the beginning, it was kind of interesting. Like, well, what are other people doing? And I was like, all right, none of this is what I would do. I'm I feel like I've ever been the audience for most of that.
All right, let's do a last question. I'm going to slightly modify it. Greg M. from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. As a way to look back, could you name the all iFanboy team, meaning in 25 years of iFanboy, what are the 5 most important artists, 5 most important writers, 5 most important books? Let's just do one each. So think back at 25 years, name your writer, artist, and book. Doesn't have to be doesn't have to be like the most, I mean, like just someone who was, of your favorites of the last 25 years. So, I mean,
we're all going to be like Darwin Cook.
Yeah, I mean,
Darwin, New Frontier.
Yeah, across the board. Yeah.
All right, so let's knock that out.
I think after Darwin,
let's say no Darwin.
I think
it would be Darwin, New Frontier for me.
I think Darwin, New Frontier. I think for all of us, I think Bendis and Brubaker are in there. Yeah, in that pantheon, right? In terms of
John's,
Rucka.
John's Rucka. Yeah,
So we can actually be able to do 5. So Darwin, Bendis, Rucka, Johns, and Brubaker. That's the 5, probably.
Yep. And then as far as artists go,
Darwin, Quietly, Imminence.
That's so hard.
It's so hard,
especially because over that time, there are a lot of art. I'd have a very hard time.
Yeah, because it's like a time and
Somni, I think, would have a claim.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the books. You could make a case in the iFanboy pantheon to be Oming.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Powers was a huge.
I get it, but I wouldn't think of that as an artist.
Nothing against Oming, but in terms,
I don't follow him though.
Yeah. In his other stuff didn't have as much oomph,
Bagley,
Aja.
Not enough.
There's not enough words.
I know, but it's just one of those turning point kind of things.
That's the hard thing, is that who has the body of work that does that, that is elevated. I mean, Sean Phillips,
or
name anything that Sean Phillips has done that you haven't liked.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I like I tell you what, if there was
a really good point.
If there was more, I would have no trouble saying Jerome Opeña.
Mm.
Just in terms of a guy who we've known sort of since the beginning of this, and I don't mean personally or whatever. I just mean like he's a perfect example of a person just everything he does is beautiful and perfect. And if he did a lot more work, you'd say he's the best. There's others like that. There's Tony Moore's like that to me.
Yeah.
Or
Allred. I love Allred.
Yeah.
Josh doesn't like Allred though.
I don't know. I'm different. I can appreciate it more, but I don't love it. It's not my favorite aesthetic.
Tim Sale's up there, yeah.
I mean, what's his name? I can never remember his name. He's doing the World War II book with Rick right now.
Yeah, he's great, but he's not a pantheon iFanboy artist.
No, but I'm just guys like that. I just feel like I have 40 guys like that rather than 5 guys.
The art is harder.
Yes.
Series. Ultimate Spider-Man, Powers,
The Last Man,
Saga.
Not Saga. We all dropped off Saga.
Yeah. The first 25 of Saga.
Gotham Central, Queen of Country.
Queen of Country is be huge.
Criminal.
Those are
Criminal, Scalped.
You're not gonna put Mark Waid?
Mark Waid would be a 6 to 10.
Yeah.
6 to 10 would have Mark Waid and have Morrison, and it would have Tom King and Flash.
Right. But it's hard because there's so much.
Justice Society.
Yeah, very good.
Justice Society.
Yep.
Hellboy.
New Avengers. I think you'd have to put New Avengers in there.
Yep. Black Sad. I love it. I love it so much.
It's a good book.
I love it so much.
I'm trying to. The foundational books are those, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's a good question from Greg and from Philadelphia. So thanks everyone. And we answered almost 30 questions. Well, more than 30 questions, 30 emails out of 74 in this list we had.
Chris Somni.
We had Somni.
We said that.
We did, we did.
So we agree with you.
Yep.
Because we already agreed to that.
I just saw it in the chat too. So sorry.
So thanks everyone who wrote in. This is about how much we normally do. So that's probably more like it. Thank you very much. That was fun. We enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You wrote into contact@ifanboy.com. That's how you can get on our weekly iFanboy Pick of the Week show. Every week we answer your emails. Thanks for doing that. You get on the show that way. quick plugs. All of our shows are available at iFanboy.com. I think we are knocking on the door, and this episode might be the 1500th show on the feed.
Wow,
I think
that's wild.
we're recording this slightly before it comes out, so I'm trying to do that. I think this might be 1500 of it on the feed. So there you go. They're all at iFanboy.com.
So cool. Yeah, so just go to threads.com/RonXO and follow me there. I'm posting there regularly now. I'm very active on social media on the threads. It's a fun place to be, actually. It's a lot of fun.
You keep going viral.
I've gone viral a couple of times. My post about real steel and my post about sideburns did very well.
You guys want to talk about your porno pantheon?
I should talk about porn.
Tell me who your favorites are.
But yeah, go follow me on threads.com/RonXO.
Conor, you see with
Mine all went to like softcore from the 80s. You know,
Shannon Tweed,
Julie Strain,
Shannon Worry. Isn't that a name? I think that's a name.
That was a name. She was blonde. All right. So when you had to work for it, you remember it.
You had you had premium cable back then. I can tell right now.
No, I had friends who did.
Okay.
So there you go. That was fun. I enjoyed that. That was a nice sort of end to the year.
Yeah.
That was a good time. We still have some more shows coming out the rest of the year. Don't forget, at the end of the year, we'll have our All Media Year-End Roundup coming in mid-December. We'll talk about all of our favorites from the year and movies and TV and music and et cetera, et cetera. And Josh and I have our weekly Pick of the Week show still coming out for the rest until mid-December, and then we'll come back in January. But until then, I'm Conor.
I'm Ron.
This is Josh signing off.
You got Casey Kasem at the end there.
Yes.
Yeah, that was radio voice.